I only traded 2 days out of this whole week, one winner and one loser, but I'm still profitable for the week. How is that possible? Well, because my winners were bigger than my losers. So basically, let's go over the strategy I'm using every single week and basically what I'm looking for. So the first thing I'm looking for, guys, is direction. And I'm looking to see if it's bullish or bearish for the day, okay? Now, just because the market is bullish, it doesn't mean I'm going to take a long, okay? It just means that I'm leaning more bullish. I will look for longs, but if the structure change or if I see the market having problems around a level, I will, okay, go against the trend, okay? So let me check you guys on the chart real quick. So, you can go to the daily chart and look at, the time frames. Let's say, for example, because I'm always going to the 5-minute chart. So let's say I wanted to look at the daily chart overall. How would I plot my levels? Let's do that first, because I know I always go to the 5-minute chart. I'm mainly trading NASDAQ, right? I'm only trading NASDAQ actually, and I'm trading the 5-minute chart. But let me just go through, a scenario on how would I actually plot down levels on a daily chart if I was looking at the daily chart. But I don't look at the daily chart, but let's say I did. Let's go through it. So I will look at the swing highs and swing lows. So the market is bullish, so we're looking at pretty much the swing highs and swing lows. I will mark these swing highs and swing lows down, and that would be my daily levels, right, for the daily chart. And basically I will mark these down and look for price to react around these levels. Now, the problem with this is it's not going to react at these levels every single day. So this is why I like to go down to the lower time frame to get, recent levels, because if I mark down a swing low right here, right, and the market never gets to that swing low, then I'm not able to trade. So me personally, I like to go to the lower time frame, like the 5-minute. But let's go to the 1 hour, because the 1 hour is actually a pretty good time frame too. So if I was looking at the 1 hour, how would I plot down my levels? It would just basically be the same thing. I would look at, the swing highs, the swing lows. So right here we have, swing highs, swing lows. I will look at these areas right here. A lot of these areas, believe it or not, you can see them on the 5-minute chart. So I would get these areas right here. You could even plot down, demand areas if you want to on a 1 hour. If this makes more sense, do it. I'm the trader that's going to always tell you it's never one way to do things. I like the 5-minute chart, but you might like plotting the levels on a 1 hour chart, whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as we can actually make money. So right here, I was look at these levels, support, resistance, and I'll just mark down these levels on my 1 hour chart, and I will see how price react to these levels, right, if I'm trading around that day. Now, that's just one way I would do it. If I was trading a high time frame, mainly I would look to see if the market is bullish. I would look to buy support, buy support. But the problem with this is, certain days the market is not going to be bullish all the time. So it will react to resistance levels, even though the daily chart or the main, bias is to the upside. So right here, the main bias is the upside, but you still will have short opportunities, because we are day traders. We are looking for these short moves, so we can definitely still go against the major trend, even though is bullish. So that's how I will plot my levels. If I'm just only looking at the high time frame, I would just look at my the swing highs, the swing lows. I would basically look at areas where the market went and stopped, right? So let's go to the 5-minute chart. Now, this is pretty much my bread and butter right here, the 5-minute chart. I only look at the 5-minute chart for the most part, and I'm gonna show you how I look at it, and we can go from there. So this is the 5-minute chart, guys. So the way I'm gonna mark it down, my levels, is I'm looking for swing highs, swing lows, and I'm also looking for areas where the market had trouble. So right here, this day, you can mark down. Notice how we have this nice little resistance level, and it pulled back to it. It didn't respect it, but it went above it and started to respect this, right? And then we went up. We have a nice demand level. So I will look at my supply and demand, okay, my recent supply or demand levels on a 5-minute chart, or recent swing highs and swing lows, okay? So this is a nice little trade right here to the upside. Here's another good example. Here's where the market opened. And basically what we have a situation where the market is having trouble around this area right here. So this is a good example of, even though the market is bullish, I would still look for short opportunities, because the 5 minute telling me short term we might go down, right? Now, the next day we might go back up, but short term we can actually go down. So this is why me personally, I'm really focused on the 5 minute chart, just to get those short term movements, because a lot of times the 5 minute will tell you, where the market wants to go today. Now, this will be a good area right here. I will look for short opportunities to the downside, right? Notice how it's making lower highs right here. And you can look for, opportunities anywhere around here to go short, right? To look for some profits. And this is what I'm looking at every single day, right? So let's go to another day. So here, this day, I will look at this level right here. That's one level. And also notice how we cracked this trend line. And what do we have here? We have supply, okay? So this would be a nice supply trade right here to the downside. Again, the overall market is bullish though, the overall market is bullish, but some days are going to be bearish just because the daily chart is going to have some type of pullback, right? So here's another day right here where I will look at these swing lows right here. And this is where the market opened. And notice how it went to this level right here and reacted to the level. So we're looking for reactions at these swing highs and swing lows, go from there. So let's look at this week and how I traded this week, and let's go from there. So this was Monday. I didn't trade at all. It went straight up, okay? And basically this day I was looking at a possible short right here, but it just blew past these levels and it was just going straight up. I didn't really want to take any trade, so I didn't take no trade that day, okay? It's just going straight up. Now the next day, it was almost similar. It went straight down. I wanted this supply right here, okay? And we never went to that supply that day. We did have some type of resistance right here. I didn't want to take that resistance because overall, when we went down, we kind of had some type of support right here. Notice how we just basically shot up. We shot up a lot right here. So there's a lot of buying going on. So to me, I really wanted short right here because it looked like we was bouncing off support. A lot of buying going on right here. I didn't really want to take this short right here. I wanted this supply right here because by the time it comes to this supply, it's going to be, the move is going to be exhausted, right? And most likely it's going to pull back. Actually, that's what happened the next day, right? Where we came back to this supply. Notice how the market reacted to that supply the next day. But overall, that was that day. Now the next day right here, I finally took a trade where we was bouncing off support right here. So notice how we have support all right here. We got 1, 2, 3. So this is pretty much an area right here. Notice how we have support even right here. So this area right here, the market bounced off this area. Okay, so notice how we have this nice bounce. So that's when I started to get in. Got on a limit right here, and I got a 3-to-1. So 3 times what I was risking, and I made 13,000 on this trade. So I went long right here, and I got a 3-to-1. Okay, and basically I rolled this baby up right here. So this nice little spike right here got me out the trade. Boom. So that was that trade. Let me show you the screenshot on the profit on that one. So right here, you see that I'm up 13,000 on that day. So that was that day, right? So let's go to the next day. Now the next day right here, I didn't take any trades. I wanted to go short right here, okay? Again, why do you want to go short and the market is bullish? Well, again, even though the market is bullish, on a daily time frame, we're going to have pullback candles, okay? So we're going to have a red candle or maybe 1 or 2 or 3 red candles because the market has to pull back, some days. So even though the market is bullish, I'm getting signs on a 5-minute chart that we are having some type of problems right around here. Notice how we're having some type of problems around here. So I'm thinking, all right, if we come to this area, I want to go short. Now, I didn't take a short because look how big these candles are and the market was just looking too choppy. I mean, look at these big candles. So I'm like, you know what? I ain't take a short at all. but we started to bounce, okay? And we had this support level right here. We bounced off that support level right here. And notice how we had a lot of buying right here, okay? Now I said, all right, I want to take a long because we have a lot of buying, and I wanted this demand level right here. I wanted this demand level right here, guys, all right? But I never got it. I never got it, okay? Now, we kind of went to it late, and this was like around 12, I don't know, 12:25 right here, and I'm not trading around that time, okay? So since I'm not trading around that time, there's no trade for me. But I wanted this demand level, right? So I can take it back basically to the top. But I never got that trade. I never got the opportunity. It is what it is. You know, sometimes you won't get a trade. So this week was slow for me. Only took 2 trades out of the week, but still, you know, profitable. I'm not going to complain at all. I'm not going to rush or do anything because overall, it is the summertime, so you have to understand that, you know, it's usually slower around this time, so I'm okay with that. So today, unfortunately, I took a loss. It's going to happen. I noticed that we had trouble around this area right here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wanted the long, but they never gave it to me, okay? So when I first came to my chart, I saw that we did have trouble around here. So let me erase all this stuff so it won't confuse you, right? So when I came to my chart, this is where the market opened right here. But I came to my chart, I saw that we was having trouble around this area right here, right? We're having trouble. So I'm looking at this area. I'm like, all right, it's possible short, you know, opportunity around here. But we didn't get to that area yet. You know, this is where the market opened. Notice how the market was at support, and basically we started to hold that support. Look, wick down and wick down a couple of times. It held that support, and we broke out. So we had a nice trend break. So we had a nice demand level right here, guys. This is what I wanted. I wanted the market to pull back to here. I was waiting for this pullback, for this continuation. Never got it. I never got it. It is what it is. You know, sometimes, you know, the market is not going to give you what you want. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with missing out the move. You have to be okay with this. So to me, I wanted this long. I never got that. But, you know, we did go to this level right here where we was having trouble multiple times. And guess what? I took a short. It didn't work this time. It doesn't matter. Because if this shows up, you know, a million times, I will still take that trade. Because you have to understand, even though it's a bullish market, the market will have, you know, pullbacks. Put it like this. The market is never going to go straight up, okay? So even though you might see a bullish bar on a daily chart, I guarantee you, you know, before it created that bullish bar, you know, it went up in waves. So the market never going to go straight up. So even though the market is bullish, we could have had a scenario where, right, it reacted to this level right here, right, and went down for a little bit, and then guess what? It would go back up. So that was my thought process, okay? I know some of you guys say, oh, why are you shorting when the market is bullish? It doesn't matter because, again, we can still make profits even though the higher time frame is bullish, okay? I showed you so many examples where even though we are bullish, the market still goes down. Even though it's short term, you still can get some moves to the downside, okay? Right here, move to the downside. Even though it's a short term down move, that's all we need as a day trader, okay? So that's why I took that short. Unfortunately, I got stopped out. Let me show you a screenshot right here. I'm down 3,500. It is what it is. Guess what? I had one winner, which was at 13K, and then one loser. So I'm still up for the month, okay? So because the loser was only 3,000, right? 3,500. So that was my thought process this week. Very bullish week, but also kind of slow for me. Didn't really get the levels that I wanted, but again, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain, making profits at home. I can't complain about that. So that's how I'm looking at the market every single day. I'm mainly looking at the 5-minute chart because for me personally, the way I look at the market, the way I like to keep things as simple as possible, I try not to let the daily chart influence me too much because a lot of times when I did that in the past, I would take a long on a downtrending day, okay? Because remember, the market will pull back. So let's say, for example, this is the daily chart right here, right? And then, it looks bullish, but we might actually have a bearish day, okay, today. So this bearish day on the 5-minute chart, all we're gonna see is this downtrend, right? So I would take longs while the 5 minutes downtrending, and I would lose. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to, pick the bottom, but not realizing the structure on the 5 minute is bearish. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to only focus on a 5 minute. And that's what I do. And it works, for me. Again, the market is never one way. You can do whatever you want. If you like going to the daily chart first, dropping down to the 4 hour, dropping down to the 1 hour, I say keep doing that if it works for you. So that's how I'm looking at the market. That was my week, straight to the point. Only had 2 trading days out of the week, but those are the trades, and hope you guys learn a lot from this, so you know what to do. Until then, talk to you guys later. Keep up the good work when it comes to trading. Keep studying, do your thing. You got this. We out.